Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another great edition of my Grue Rume Show. And for the Grue Rume Show today, I got a very awesome guest, and he's a professional wrestler and actor, and his name is Facade. And I'm really looking forward to talking to him about his wrestling life. He is the Ninja, and I am Rocco Cross. I am the host at Stutters, as you can already tell. I am the host of the Groom Show, and my interview be coming up very soon. This is my groom, and as always, welcome to my nightmare. So stay tuned. All right, buddy. Welcome to Gru, and thank you so much for taking time and doing the show. I appreciate it.
Yo, your boy, the spin kicking, back flipping, rope walking, dreadlocking, neon ninja. Glad to be here finally, man.
Definitely, bud. Definitely, and that's uh, you you have a lot of different names, huh?
Yeah, throughout the years, it's kind of started out as like the bomber Michael Facade when I was super basic and swearing a lot of black and some UFO pants and stuff. Then it was like the suburban terrorist, the neon ninja, the aerosol assassin, the aerial arsonist, the super indie samurai, all kinds of different facades.
Yeah, okay, just like your name. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah,
So I guess the first question I'll start out asking you, basic question is what inspired you to wrestle, and who are some of the guys that you love to watch?
sure, yeah. Uh, Back when I was a kid, I used to watch wrestling with my dad, and that was my first like exposure to wrestling. So that was kind of like a cool thing. And my dad passed away whenever I was 7, and
Oh,
so that was kind of like a thing that kind of kept me close to him, I guess you could say. And I would like go to wrestling shows with friends, WWE, and some at this point, really independent wrestling was not how it is now, but I
yeah.
had gone to a couple of indies. So coming up in high school, everything like that, we started backyard wrestling, and that was in the Attitude Era where a lot of backyard wrestling was happening. So
Oh, yeah, it was.
yeah, uh, but long story short, I just kept doing it because I was an athlete in high school, and that I was actually a good athlete in high school. So instead of further pursuing, I guess, other academic or athletic endeavors
Mhm.
specifically, I'm like, I love wrestling. I want to keep wrestling, so let's go. And that's pretty much what happened. I went to a place in Pittsburgh, IWC, that at the time they had a event called the Super Indie Tournament, and
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
yeah, and so this was like when Ring of Honor was running in Pittsburgh also. So it had like a crossover of some of the talent. And I saw guys like AJ Styles, Chris Sabin, and just like that was like one of the first times me ever going to an indie outside of like ECW. So yeah, kind of like I think I can like do what they're doing. I think I can hang with these guys. And like a brash 18-year-old would say, but I mean, like athletically, I feel like I could do everything that, and like I had been watching wrestling for so long, and not just like backyard wrestling when people would like just bust stuff over their head and random
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. No, we'd have storylines, we'd have certain periods of time. We did it for like 5 years or so, and like certain periods of time, we had like other kids from school involved. Where like then there was a cross promotional kind of thing. Yeah, it was insane. But yeah. So but long story short, me and Chest Flexor, also from Pittsburgh, we decided to, you know, train all summer, and then we're gonna work out, train, and then we're gonna try out. And then we ended up trying out earlier than we wanted to, but that was great because then we just still trained all summer and like watched what we came to classes, what they were doing, and watched them. And when the training class started, then we could just assimilate into their um, program a lot easier and kind of have a little head start because we were paying attention and doing warm-ups with everyone before we actually got to do the actual physical training. So yeah,
Oh,
trained for about 2 years there, the way our schedule had, and then had my first match. And but to answer the other part of the question, a lot of the people that were inspirations initially it was like Hogan and Warrior and like Macho Man. Those were like
watch
the guys, the big colorful characters, especially Hogan.
Yes.
And then it kind of evolved into like Mr. Perfect
Oh
uh,
yeah.
and Razor. And then it was the Hardys and Rob Van Dam and Sabu and Taz.
Nice.
So, but huge on RVD and Sabu, and still to this day, and the Hardys. So, and then evolved into the Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho phase. You know what I mean?
All right.
So all those guys and maybe some Ultimo Dragon in there too would be like
Nice.
a lot of inspirations that I've pulled from throughout the years.
Oh yeah. I'm a huge Jer Jericho fan. Like I love Jericho. I was on his cruise twice, and
Oh yeah. That always seems like it'd be a fun time, especially with all the wrestlers and wrestling fans.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, it's a blast.
OG Jericho holic.
Right? Yes, exactly.
Yep.
And and when you were training to wrestle, like how long did it actually take for your body to get used to all the bumps and running the rope and getting like the rope burns and stuff?
Oh yeah. So, um, well, it kind of changed because we had this one ring which we would work out in, and it was like your typical wrestling ring that you would see at an indie show nowadays. And maybe about a month of that getting used to, yeah, like under your arm and on your back, the ropes. People underestimate how much the ropes really hurt.
Yeah, it's
And then,
crazy.
yeah. And then, like, slamming yourself on the ground and stuff, how your body eventually gets used to that too in a crazy way. But then our situation changed and we had to take a small amount of time off. And then the new venue was an old WWF ring that they used to keep at the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh. So now we're going into like a 20 by 20 here and real ropes. So, and like, mind you, the way I was trained, we weren't like, we were hitting the ropes already, but like,
Yeah.
we had to wait about a good 4 to 6 months before we were hitting the ropes. And so we had like a good foundation of like our wrestling ability before our coaches wanted us to, hit the ropes and everything. And I wasn't even doing springboards at the time. I kind of more or less is self-taught when it comes to the springboards, but
Oh
I was
wow.
learning to do the springboards in that ring. So they were, like I said, 20 by 20 real rope, and they were
Yeah,
very
yeah.
like saggy, loose. And actually, too, with this ring, um, it was at like a kickboxing and boxing studio or whatever you would call it, and we had to slide. Man, I totally forgot about this. We had to slide the three like long sheets of pad, the
Yeah,
wrestling
yeah.
pad, onto the ring, and then we worked out on that, and then like sometimes we would like land and bump on like a part of it that was hard,
Oh
or
no.
like, and just not even the hard part hits you, it's the unevenness like of
Yeah,
you
yeah.
taking something not so flat. Dang, I forgot about that. But yeah, that was, yeah, it was insane. It really was.
Wow, yeah, like pe people don't know about like the ropes. Like they think, oh, yeah, just ju run the ropes, and but they don't know like it actually hurts the ropes like when you're running against it.
Yeah. And especially if you're like throwing your body into them and looking to get an
Mhm.
actual rebound, which you want to do, it's like it takes like something out of you. Yeah,
I
yeah,
know, I know it's
yeah.
crazy. Yeah, yeah, because I I used to do it. That's how I know about it. And I actually wrestled for Johnny Cashmere. I used to
Uh-huh.
wrestle for him and Trent because I actually grew up with Trent, and me and Trent, we went to same grade school together and
Oh,
preschool.
wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And
Yeah, I had a little bit of interaction with Trent because some of the old CZW times I
Mhm.
was there just the tiniest bit but not so much while he was there. It was a little bit after, but yeah, I got to meet him
Oh,
and yeah, he's cool dude.
yeah, definitely, definitely. He's definitely missed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so like how did you come up with like your whole name and the ring attire and the neon shirts and sunglasses and all that?
Yeah. Um, well, the funny thing is, like, I was just kind of like dressing like that, and that's how I was normally. And like when I started wrestling, um, I was wearing more black gear and stuff like that. Um, that was more like ninja like and like real, I guess basic because I had like black UFO pants, kind of like like Sick Nick Mondo, a lot of guys like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But also in my head is like Sick Nick Mondo and Sabu. So those were like I'm like
Nice.
okay, but they were black. And then I had like a karate gi that I had custom cut and then sewn, and that had screen printed on the back, and then like a Dickies hoodie with the sleeves cut off and sewn and graffiti splattered on the front and back. And so it was like a real street vibe, and it was really like real DIY when it came to making my outfit. Like, you know what I mean? Because it was clothes. It was like, and it was like name brand clothes, I guess you could say, but it was like not wrestling gear. So, but more or less, it was me making myself as creative wrestlers all these years. This is what I would make myself looking like, minus maybe like a mask. Sometimes like I was because I was also real big into Hayabusa.
Oh my God, I love Hayabusa. I actually got a poster of him in my room, but I have the background up now so you don't say
Oh,
it.
nice. But yeah, Sabu and Hayabusa,
Yeah,
you know, Hayabusa took a lot of stuff from Sabu, and he had his own like ninja look to him too,
he
which
did.
was
He did.
like
Yeah.
really cool in my perspective. So, uh, yeah, I always thought that would be like a cool thing. Like, so, yeah, more or less like a street Hayabusa looking thing, I guess. If I was making it in a creator wrestler, right? And then so I
Yeah.
just basically brought that to life, um, as affordably as I could at the time, and then slowly just chipped away, got some sweet gear, and then just kept leveling up. And then as I so like that whole thing, that was just how I imagine myself like in the Matrix, like this is the residual self-image that you have, you know what I mean? And so that's kind of what I just tried to make it. And then slowly as I wrestled other people and like um or interacted in some way with other wrestlers, I kind of just like I absorbed parts of them more or less because like okay, um I wrestled as a tag partner with Matt Hardy for around the year. We won a tag team championship at Remix Pro Wrestling.
Oh, that's
And
awesome. I was one of your guys.
yeah, yeah. So like I was super happy about that.
Yeah.
And like originally I used to wear like the gauntlet where it was just all black tape and then there was one color on the end and one color on the end there. And whenever I had started tagging with Matt, I got another idea and I made my tape like the chaos
Oh,
tape.
wow. Yeah.
So then I had been rocking that ever since. And like people ask me too, they're like, oh, how did you come up with that? I'm like, well, it just kind of like, was a thing. Um, Another situation too. I want to make it would be cool if I made like some graphics. It's like, oh, Matt Hardy and Facade, boop, and then it changes and then
Right?
it like poof, like you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes,
Like when
exactly.
Pokemon evolve or something like that.
Yeah, 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 definitely.
Yeah. Then another one was whenever I had now I have these like shuriken shields on my kick pads, and I had Matt Seidel, Evan Bourne's first
Hmm.
match
Hmm.
back from the Indies, and we've actually had quite a few matches now since. But that was another thing that, like, like I incorporated a little bit of him into me in this way because he has those sweet, unique to him uh, kick pads that a lot of people have kind of like, duplicated over the years. I
Oh
made my
yeah.
own version with the like shuriken over the top, over the knee. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Even
Nice.
Ultimo Dragon also, like, because I was lucky enough to get to wrestle Ultimo Dragon.
Oh
I
damn,
kind of
really?
incorporated like the Ultimo Dragon, like, and like Power Ranger, like, like shoulder deals into my gear now, So like it's not just a
Nice.
vest, like
Nice.
AJ. So the AJ Styles vest, which are also AJ Styles, you know what I mean? Um, so now it's not just the AJ Styles vest, but it's an AJ Styles vest with these like shoulder things. So it's like piece after piece after piece, like, you know what I mean? Adding to the lore, I guess you could say, of the Neon Ninja.
Yeah, like I guess every time you wrestle one of your heroes, you take a piece, like
Yeah,
Hardy and the Dragon and
yeah, it's crazy. And well, like me and I had Buddy Matthews, Buddy Murphy's first match back on
Mhm.
the Indies too. I was actually wearing this kind of pants that he wears because it was actually like Chris Sabin's, if you remember back when he did the play option C thing when he won the title with TNA. He had these cool pants, the tearaways that now you see a lot of people wear too. But those are Buddy Murphy's, that he made them more popular, it seemed like. But I was wearing them for a minute, and then once he got back onto the Indies, he changed from his Messiah pants and clothes back to what he wears. And so, we had a match where we didn't necessarily look the same, but we looked similar, and that was kind of cool. And so then from that point on, I took a step, and now I wear a different type of pants where my pants are like that, but they're more bikers. They're a little shorter and a little more unique to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
He beat those ones off. He beat those pants away. I had to forfeit
Okay.
them.
And and now he's doing the House of Black.
He's a super spooky ninja.
Yes, exactly. And I'm a big fan of the turtle films, and you came out to one of the songs from the second film, go go ninja go, and I'm guessing you were a fan of the films too, or was that just a song that you like?
Oh heck yeah, man! I love the Ninja Turtles and Ninja Rap. Yeah, go Ninja, go Ninja, go. Yep. Yeah, I love that because, like, and don't get me wrong, the newest movie is super sweet, but the newer movies that
Yeah,
was CGI, they're pretty cool, but nothing beats dudes in rubber suits doing karate,
yes,
man. Like,
exactly,
that's impressive. Like,
exactly.
spinning jump kicks and stuff, like wearing these big suits. Come on,
I know.
like, yeah. So, and then like, yeah, Ernie Reyes Jr., Kino from the second movie, the Pizza Kid.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Surf Ninjas all the way. But yeah, man,
Nice.
I love Ninja Turtles too, and I love
That was such a great movie.
yeah, I love Vanilla Ice also because uh even back as a kid, like Ice Ice Baby was a sweet song, but
Yeah.
I would like I shave the gimmicks in the side of my head now, but like rewind back when I was a little ninja, I was just doing that just like lightning bolts and stuff, and my mom would let me get that done, and I'd feel so cool. I'm like, man, I got this little stupid rat tail that I
I
actually have
love it.
again. Funny the way the world works, but yeah, then I'd have these little lightning bolts and things in there.
Oh man, nice, nice. And and how was your experience? Like you did a match on Dark, and how was your experience like working on AEE W, like working with them, working with Tony?
Yeah. Um, I only really got to shake Tony's hand, unfortunately. He was kind of busy, but that's just how the way things work. But
Yeah,
man, if I ever got some time to talk crazy to him, I'd have some crazy ideas. But no, I've got to do um work backstage there a number of times, but unfortunately, I only got to have that one match. Uh, Working there though has been fun. It's always like a cool thing to see so many of my friends that I've worked with also there too,
yeah,
and also specifically that match was a great time because I knew Toad Leona and Khan and even more. I know Cage and worked with him before, so he knows a lot of my moves and stuff. And he's more like, "Yeah, yeah, you do this here and everything." And I'm like, "Okay." Just like just point and click me, boss. I'm down for whatever. And so it actually kind of turned out pretty cool. Like I still got to, showcase some of my fancy stuff, but also make other people look great in the process. And
yeah,
I love to do that anyway, too. You know what I mean? Like if I can do something cool that people are that's unique to me, and also make somebody look awesome in the process, I have no problem doing that. You can see that in my matches. I like to take silly things and uh, you know, wild bumps and
oh yeah,
sometimes I got to be the sacrificial lamb for those to look cool, but it's all it all evens out in the end, I hope.
no, yeah, definitely. Like I seen you wrestle live a couple times. I live in Philly, so I saw you on Battleground, and yeah, like I saw you doing all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, man. Especially if you were at Battleground and firsthand, I go out of my head because being an OG ECW kid, I have like a standard to uphold, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
like
definitely. Yeah, the
like
ECW arena.
yeah, like especially now because like wrestling there, so I first wrestled there was um Velocity Pro.
Oh
Remember that?
wow. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, yes, I definitely remember that.
And I wrestled under a Hayabusa mask there
Wait,
because
really?
I wrestled with one of my trainers, um, uh, whose name's Super Hentai, and the people that running the show at the time would like me to wear a mask also with him just to see. And I'm like, heck yeah, this is just an opportunity for me to try something, and I'm always down for that. That's the one thing too, like the facade character is a meta character. The Neon
Yeah.
Ninja is the one that I've leveled up the most. You know what I
No.
mean? Like you can see the Neon Ninja, like so that's what. But there's many different facades. Like for instance, at Battleground, you have a crowbar facade now too, and there's a lot of mystery behind that. You know what I mean? Why did I allow myself to be coerced by um, Crowbar and to like start being a spooky assassin for him or whatever?
Yes. Yes, that's awesome.
But yeah, so Velocity Pro wearing that mask, that was a great experience for me too. I mean, it's kind of freaky too because it was the first time actually wearing a mask outside of training,
Oh
and it was
wow.
me and Hentai versus All Money Is Legal. So I'm sure you remember them too because they
Yeah,
were awesome.
definitely.
And so yeah, and then through the years, wrestled at for CZW really only 3 times at the arena, but people
Okay.
remember those and tell me about them. They're like, "Oh, I remember all the CZW stuff you used to do," and I'm like, "That's so cool and insane at the same time," because I had 3 CZW matches at the arena, and then one that was down in Lumberton, North Carolina, which was
Oh
against
wow.
uh, AR Fox. So
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah, that was a big crazy. They had Moxley, Drake, and Nick Gage wrestling
That's
in
sick.
some pavilion. Like they ran
Oh my
outside, and
God.
it was so insane because this was like before CZW was do. I mean, really, CZW didn't travel, so like to have a one off in North Carolina was pretty crazy. But
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So back to what you were saying, like back to the ECW arena and battleground, it's another energy for me, man. Like I have I've I've had people boo me and I've messed up in that place and people chanting you fucked up, people chanting please come back, people
I mean,
chanting welcome back. And so like now I feel like I've got a little bit of something to, I've got some juice behind me. People like me there. I feel like a full grown ninja and everything. So I ain't afraid anymore. I'm not afraid anymore.
I know that's crazy when like I mean those fans watch everything like the you fucked up chants and all that
They
like
used to be so tough. They used to be
oh
so
my
rotten. Yeah.
god like it's crazy.
That's like similarly too, like back in the day, the JCW crowd used to be really tough too. But like that's one of the nice things about the new JCW. It seems like that, or the new Juggalo like community seems like it's kind of leveled up in a way because it's a lot more chill and a lot more all encompassing. And so not even that you see so much messed up stuff, but like you know, uh, I remember people used to throw stuff back at CZW and back at old
Holy shit.
JCW where it got real wild.
Oh my god, that's crazy. That stuff like that is crazy though.
Yeah. I also miss the air horn. The air horn used to be real prevalent in the arena
Yeah,
too,
yeah, I
remember?
remember the yes.
I
Yeah,
forgot about that.
yeah, I remember that. And you mentioned like your work with the clowns, J JCW, and how did you wind up like meeting up with the clowns and getting involved with wrestling for them?
Yeah. Well, like the first time I got to do something was way back in the day. Um, they had a tour that was going on with like Coolio and some other people. Um,
Coolio.
yeah, this is like 99 or 2000. Oh, wait. No, it's got to be late 2000s because I didn't start wrestling till then. Yeah. Um, but yeah, it was like so random. There was all kinds of like cool people. And I think it was like 15 years ago, maybe. And then fast forward to last year, um, I was watching all these podcasts that Jay was on, and I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I really would like to go wrestle for JCW and do some cool stuff with ICP. And just like thinking about that, and then like I'm gonna message Violent J. Maybe they're gonna
Yeah.
have wrestling at Hallowicked this year. Well, turns out obviously they would because they normally have it like at Hallowicked and the Gathering, even though the focus hadn't been on JCW in the last couple of years because they've been still doing, life. Uh, so he he said, I didn't send him anything other than just like, hey, I call myself the Neon Ninja and I would like to come and wrestle at Hallowicked, blah blah blah, and like trying to, he's like, man, you call yourself the Neon Ninja, but you ain't wearing neon. That's crazy. He's like, get yourself some cool gear with some lights and not talking Silk to Soleil, but like if you could do that, and maybe we'll consider you for the gathering next year or something. And
Nice.
I'm like,
Nice.
damn. I was like bummed out. I was like, I'm not neon enough. I'm like, and I said, this is like a story, this analogy. I felt like the kid from A Christmas Story, where he
Yeah,
gets,
yeah.
you'll shoot your eye out, kid. And I'm like, and I told some of my friends, I'm like, hey man, I just asked Violent J, and he said I'm not neon enough. He's like hang up your boots, and I'm like, yeah, pretty much, time to
God.
give it a quits. But then I like gave it a day, and I'm like, no, can't be like this, not like this. So I like sent him some like pictures of me looking like all bodacious and neon in my
Yeah,
entrance and
yeah.
like you know what I mean. So like he could actually see what the hell I was talking about. And
Exactly.
then he's like, "Oh yeah, you're one of the freshest wrestlers on the planet. Yeah, we'll give you a shot." Blah blah blah. And then I get a text from um, somebody trying to set me up on the card for Hallowicked, and I'm like, "Dude, this is
Nice.
insane. I can't believe this worked." And the fact that
I
like
can't
because I
believe it.
didn't give up, you know what I mean? Like, I didn't just be like, oh, okay, I guess I didn't do good. I'm not gonna, I was like, no way. I mean, I was like that for a day. I was freaking
Well, yeah,
out.
I'm sure.
But like, I'm like, I can't give up like that. But I also did consider putting lights in my gear now, so that could be
Oh,
another facade in the chamber. You know what I'm saying? But
oh.
I can't really. The Neon Ninja is still so popular. I can't really do too much different right now. So but yeah, so it opened my eyes to another concept, but it also was like persistence, like you know what I
Yeah,
mean. So
definitely. Definitely.
yeah, so I
Wow.
did the Hallowicked show last year. That went over cool. Then I got asked back to do some of the other stuff, and that went great. I got to main event the GCW Backyard show this year. Me and Lucky
Mhm.
13. with
Hmm.
Violent J on the commentary, losing his mind, and that was like unreal, like literally still crazy to hear like the things he was saying, and like to have him like having a ball like his Stranglemania, because
Yes.
he doesn't get to commentate for uh JCW either. He's working, so
Oh yeah.
making sure the show runs smooth, and so like it's just extra icing on the cake, cherry on top.
And like, what's it like to go on tour with with them? Because they do, of course, these wrestling and music tours, and of course the gathering of the juggalos that they do every single year. And how's it like to actually be part of that, like going on the tour, going to the gathering?
Um, so to be honest, I haven't been to a gathering in 20 years. I went to a couple of the original ones in Toledo and Peoria,
Oh, all right, okay.
and I got to see the wrestling there with some of the guys like Pondo, and you know, that was super cool. So
Mhm.
every year that I've been able to or been offered to do the gathering, there was something other wrestling that I had to do, you know what I mean? And as
Yeah.
unfortunate as it sounds, like I've just like been power leveling wrestling, trying to get that to be like, you know, level max that. So
Oh, of
the one
course.
thing this year, the gathering, we missed it because we like made a debut in Hawaii. So I couldn't really like I was a bummer, but also it was very cool to go to Hawaii and see that. Um, so back to the other part, the touring aspect.
Hmm.
By the way, also very excited about the gathering this year. They're gonna do GCW versus JCW, a War of
Oh,
the Worlds. Yeah, so
oh
that should be
wow.
interesting too, because they had some guys, Tony, Too Tough Tony, Caleb Conley, and Matt Cross down invade Hawaii whenever yeah, GCW was down there. So there's been some of that crossover going on leading up to
Nice.
this year's gathering. So, but as far
Nice.
as the touring goes, uh, it was awesome because like being an OG Juggalo and getting able to like outside of being a part of it in general, which is amazing, being able to contribute to things that make the show and the event better backstage is really cool
Mm.
too. Because I don't know, it's just like you are part of it,
Well, yeah.
But then also there's some nice perks that come along too, like getting to hang out with everyone on stage and do the Fago Armageddon is very cool also. And just to be able to share stories and things like that with Jay and some of the guys of that you had seen before, Tony
Hmm.
and stuff, which is really cool to me because man, like I said, it's like it's it's weird to say living a dream, but there's a lot of different dreams to be had, and this is definitely one of them. So just being able to like shoot the shit with Jay and tell him some things, and then hear some of his cool stories, and also share creative ideas. That's a real cool moment too. So, but some of the crazy things, as I said about the Fago Armageddon, that's also a blessing and a curse because you got to make sure you pack accordingly and you're ready
That's true.
to be cold and wet for a moment while this while the change around comes. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So you just got to prepare, which also leads into like figuring out how you keep your clothes clean because these are things that you think about when see normally the most I've been on tour with wrestling has been about 4 days in a row, sometimes five, but like
Okay.
you don't burn through clothes in the same instance. So uh you start figuring out the way the system works. Thankfully venues have washing machines, things like
Yeah.
that. Uh hotels do also. So you start figuring it out sooner or later.
True.
What you can and can't do. But overall, like the camaraderie and like all that stuff, hanging out with everyone. And the group that we have too seems to get along very well, thankfully,
Mhm.
because like being on the road with 9 people or being on the road for 9 days with, 20 some people could be really a nightmare. But
Oh
thankfully
yeah.
it was quite fun. Looking forward to we're going to be running it back. Obviously, as you know, we got the one coming up here in December. On the 4th and 5th, we got the Little Rock and St. Louis, but we will be coming back to some of those towns in January, and also, try to keep it like a continuous thing. You know what I mean? If people were interested in JCW, we want to keep bringing that around. So
Oh
we'll
yeah.
see how that goes.
Nice. Yeah, yeah, because I'm friends with like Johnny Cashmere and
Oh
the
yeah.
back the backseat boys, and you're gonna be on tour with them for that for JCW.
Oh yeah. Johnny Cashmere, he turned his back on the backseat boys. What a devious guy he was. Smacked them
Yeah.
with the Bible, and then cost them the tag team championships for what is it? The Bang Bros are now the Altar Boys.
Yeah,
Okay.
which was a gimmick Trent had for a little bit there, the holy Trent Acid. That was one of his gimmicks when he was traveling with them.
Oh, that makes it even better. That makes perfect sense. Yeah. That's cool actually. See, we need to make sure that's a little bit more talked about because I think a lot of people would find that pretty interesting. Yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah, so
definitely.
yeah, that's some of the stuff you get to see. Like some of the stuff in JCW, there's crazy storylines. There's not just crazy storylines, the crazy characters is pretty cool too. Obviously, the backseats, but the
Hmm.
brothers of Fun Destruction too. The might have seen them in NWA and across where they were a couple of clowns doing some fun clowny stuff.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
you got Caleb Conley, American champion. He's just a straight dickhead. Uh, then Matt Cross. He's the OG, triple OG. Uh, and then Willie Mack. Me and Willie Mack got to hang out an extended amount of time. We were rooming together for a little bit on the tour. Me and him get along very well. We just crack jokes and just talk silly the entire time.
I love it.
Yeah.